Hey, what's up, KECO Facebook group and YouTube? Today I want to take a couple of minutes and show you how to use the Crease Killer setup on a live car. I've got an Audi here, nice crease that came through the front door. I glue pulled all of that with some regular tabs. Into the back door, it's a long crease. The Crease Killer is going to be the perfect setup. So come on over and let me show you what the damage looks like. So if we can get this bad boy to focus, there it is. You can see we've got a really nice crease through the edge of the back door. So you can zoom in a little bit. A little bit deep. There's a little bit of a hard edge to it. And it does go through into the edge of the panel. Let's get set up. All right, so you saw the crease. I've already compounded the panel and cleaned it with the Keystone panel cleaner, release agent. We are going to go with the 7mm Crease Killer tab. This tab goes almost exactly the length of the crease. In fact, just a tick more than the crease, which is good. That's going to let us move the entire crease out in one move. Today we've got the cactus green, sort of a 70-degree day here, not too humid, nothing crazy. Tree goes cactus green, general purpose glue. It's what was already loaded in my gun, and we don't need a long open time like we get with the Cam Auto, and it's not crazy hot or anything where we need to use the tab weld. If the tab weld was in the gun, I would just leave it in the gun and go with it and just pull a little bit faster. I'm gonna grab my marker. What I like to do is when we have a crease like this and we're gonna use the Crease Killer setup, you have to be perfect with your placement. If you're not perfect, it will grab the tab, or it will grab the crease and pull an edge over one way or another. If you hit it perfect, it's magic. If you miss high or low, it's problems. So take your time and line it up. I'm gonna go ahead and make some marks on either side of the crease. So when we come in with the tab, I can get it all placed up. So let me grab my marker and we'll get it marked out. So I like to use these Bistro chalk markers, easy on, easy off. The car's polished, we're good to go. So we're gonna come past the edge of the door. So for that alignment mark, I'm actually going to dip onto the front door. I know we go past the edge, and I can actually see a little bit of the scratch. So I've got a mark there. The way I'm going to use that, so now when I load up with glue and I'm coming in, I don't have to guess where the edges are. I can come and line up perfect on that line and line up perfect to that line, that I know that I've hit my center point perfectly. So you want a pretty nice even line of glue down the tab. And then I'm gonna watch it touch there and line up to there. So as long as I drew straight, and I'm pretty sure we did, that crease is perfectly under the center of this tab. While that sets up, I'm going to show you how to set up the Crease Killer. All right, so we've got our tab on and gluing. The Crease Killer setup works two ways. So this is the single head setup. We get the Crease Killer feet. They go on. This is great if I were trying to pull a short crease. This is how I would set it up. The feet also come in and really get right next to the tab. So I have the ice tab on. This is the traditional KECO blue, but you can see there is almost no room, so it really pins everything down and makes it pull super strong there. Because this is a longer crease, in fact the length of the tab, what I want to do is set it up for the dual feet setup, so two lifters, and I want to make sure that I have it set up so the feet are in tight and pinning it down. I love everything, or one of the things I love about KECO is everything's a system, right? So it's the same robo lifter, and these feet just pop off You can also see while I have it off that instead of the standard round adapter, it's got the crease adapter, so it takes a slightly bigger bite. And then on the back side, you can see the foot is longer on one side than the other. So when you put it longer, that comes in and sandwiches that 7mm tab down. If you do it the other way, it lets you work with some of our wider crease tabs. So you go out on the end for a dual setup, and you get your second lifter that comes in the Crease Killer kit. And don't be afraid of these connections. They're meant to be taken apart and they're meant to stay together. So don't be afraid to manhandle them a little bit. Now, I'm going to make sure we get some clearance in there. And then you just want to come in from the side and slide them on. So if it's a little tight, that first one actually I hit pretty good. Loosen it up. As we come in with the second one, it's a little too high or it would be a little too tight. No biggie, just loosen that head up. Give it some room to come on. There we go. So admittedly, this is a little awkward to get onto a car. And this is also why for the front door, I had to use just a regular lifter and some regular crease tabs, because this footprint, the little, no pun intended, is so big. I would have had to got the door and pull the handle to get flat and get in there. And it really, on the front door, was just about a 4-inch crease, 5 or 6 good pulls, and it was gone. So we're set up. The glue is dry. Beautiful day, 75 degrees or so on the panel. I'm in equally on both sides. You don't want to be at an edge. If you're out at the edge, it actually will just shear the tab right off. I'm nice and tight. There's not really any play in the heads. So if there were any play, we would tighten that up. I'm already there. The feet are in and pushed against here. You can't really see what's going on. So you want to tread lightly. You want to tread lightly with that. If you over pull, you can actually stretch the metal out and practically put a body line in. Maybe we can send a link to the initial video with this that Jonathan did. This is a real world car, a real world repair in my shop. We're doing a PDR repair. I want to show you how you can use this for your PDR repairs, or if you're in a body shop and let's say this had a scratch and needed painted, this is going to bring it up and get you to where you're probably practically a fillerless repair. So let's go ahead and give it a pull. So I am not cranking at all. Just a nice pull, pretty stout. I'm going to pull it off there and see what she looks like. So again, we could go in and if we were to yank that, it would just fold the metal out to a body line. Not a whole lot dissimilar than this. To get these off, because they stick so good, I like to loosen these up a little bit, come out to the end, and this will sort of demonstrate how much that changes. I'm gonna hit with just a little bit of release agent, give it a couple seconds to work, and then just this tab, or this lifter, out of the end, I want to give it just a little bit of pressure, and it breaks it right loose. So ridiculous power when it's in the middle and you make that dual move. It shears it right off when you're out at the end. Also a great testimonial for the Keystone panel prep. It's right off, super clean. And again, I was being cautious there as to not over pull it. So let me take a look and see what we've got with the light. I'll bring you over on the camera and let you check it out. All right, so here we are. This is pull 1. You can see over in here on this side, probably the first 3 inches of the dent is up and pretty nice. I was pulling a little harder, I guess, with the right than the left. Over here, we reduced it But again, I'm treading cautiously and don't want to over pull. So my next pull, I'm going to come in here and concentrate more on the left side. All right, so I'm going to do a little bit of knocking down on this right hand side before we pull again. Where it pulled up great on the right side, because it's sharper crease, we've got a little bit of a, I call it a volcano. So I'm going to open that volcano up some, and the low edge pulled a little bit higher than the top edge. I just want to smooth it out and keep it even. All right, so we've got her opened up. I'm gonna give it a nice wipe real quick with our panel prep, just to make sure I didn't leave any greasy hands on there or any transfer from the knockdown. I'm gonna make my marks again on the crease and off the edge. So another reason that I think it may have pulled a little harder on the right hand side than on the left is the right hand side is open metal. The left hand side gets into where the skins come together and it's a little bit more stout. I'm also paying attention to how hard I pulled, and this time I will pull a little bit harder. Do not like how that went on. I slipped a little bit going on, and what you don't want to do is make a bad pull with this. So when I looked, I went here and then over to this side, and then while I came over to here, this side dropped, and when I went back to fix it, this side dropped. You are way better off to stop and just reload. So just a little bit of residue left on here that will just melt right back in with the new hot glue. Much better. So what would have happened, get the camera here. So I think what would have happened if I would have made a pull there, because I slipped down and corrected, my first best guess is that the bond of the glue wouldn't have been good and it would have been a wasted pull anyways. However, if it wasn't a bad pull and it did hook up, it would have been bad because it had slipped below the center line of the crease. Then I would have pulled that whole bottom edge up, which would have created a ton more work. Obviously, if you're sliding onto a car like this, you want to make sure your feet, the crease killer feet, are clean. If you have dirty feet, those would scratch the panel coming across. So we're on. The glue should be set. We're going to give this another good pull. I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive this time, and I'm also going to be a little bit more aggressive on the left side than the right. So first I'll pull it together, and then I'm going to increase on the left side. I hear it breaking loose. That's a pretty aggressive pull. Just put a little alcohol in there to loosen it up. There she goes. So what you don't want to do is when you're taking one of these tabs off, is you don't want to force it over on the glue. If that were still hooking up big time, you could actually push a dent in with the corner of the tab. It sticks that well. That is a beautiful thing. Let me bring it over and show you. All right, so we've got our red marks. I may have dipped down a hair on the left at the very edge, but that pull was awesome all the way, actually all the way until about right there. It seems to slip off just a little bit. But this, from here this way, is ready to knock down and see where we're at. This over here, I didn't think we would get that edge. I'll probably end up tooling that out or going at it with a round tab. There's a little bit of a chip there too. That is 2 pulls with the crease killer setup and taking time to talk to you while I'm doing it. We're off to a pretty good start. All right, now we'll knock it down and see how she looks. All right, so let me bring you over and let you see what we have knocked down. Speaking of knocked down, let me show you real quick what we were doing. So if this V, bring it in here where you can see, use the car as a whiteboard. If this V represents a cross section of our crease, so we went in and where we hit it perfect, right, it pulled from here, right, straight up. Well, because it has that deep V, that doesn't come all the way up. So if we've got flat metal and we had that V here, when you pull, it actually pulls the shoulders up, decreases the depth of the V, and it looks something like this. So the knocking down, especially on this right-hand side, is really not correcting a mistake, but just moving the metal around. So we're coming down and working these 2 shoulders down and getting the crease to, instead of that hard V, maybe now it's a little bit more like this and not as deep. We just keep repeating that process. So up, knock the shoulders down, up, knock the shoulders down, until you get up and flat. I'll bring you over and show you where it got us to on this one. See the right hand side, we've got just a little bit going on there. Left hand side, right, it dipped off a little bit and we're stiffer metal. So I'm actually going to make this next pull and concentrate just right in here and get it all up in equal. You can see how much shallower that crease already is with just 2 pulls. Right, so here's why I like those chalk markers, right? We just did our little whiteboard, and you actually don't even need cleaner to get the majority of it off. Just a little bit of a ghost is all that's left there. We'll get that when we clean up. So back one more time, a quick prep on our crease. What do you want to mark out? Right, so we're just going to concentrate, let's say from here to the edge of the door. So I will mark crease out this way, and of course my mark at the end. So I was thinking about going with the cut down 7mm. It's the same tab, just literally cut down shorter. But that leaves me hard edges right at both edges of the crease. What I'm going to do instead is center this tab sort of over top of the pull, and I'm going to let the glue go out sort of in both directions. So while that's setting up, I'm going to switch the crease killer from the dual head setup, right? Because I don't necessarily want that hard pull on this side. I'm going to switch to the single head with the feet still in tight, but I'm going to concentrate just right in here. That'll let the whole tab pull, but it will actually fade the pull over this way instead of giving me that hard edge that we would have ended up with had I gone the other the way with that shorter tab. So I still want the tight side in, so the longer side, and just move it out to the edge the way I had it set up in the original beginning of the video. So my mark is right here, so I'm going for centered, you know, an inch in is where I want this head to line up. An inch in from the edge of the door. There we go. Right about there, nice and squared up. And this side has not pulled strong for us yet. I think, again, we've got some extra stress. So I'm gonna be a little bit more aggressive with this pull. And also, the single head is not nearly as aggressive as the double head pull. So I'm gonna take all my slack out to get maximum pull. Good flex on the tab. Go ahead and let it release. And that is exactly the pull I was looking for. Check it out. So that was that problem section, right? Right through there. That's ready to knock down. So that's 3 pulls for probably a 6 or 7 inch crease to get it to that point. I am not going to get ultra aggressive with glue out here because we are doing a paintless repair and there's a little tiny chip at the edge. That I will finish with my traditional tools. I'm going to go ahead and knock this down and show you where it's at. So I'm actually going to fire my phone up and show you the video on the phone because I can get it a little closer without the big mic. So we'll switch over to the camera phone. We'll get zoomed in here. Switch my lights a little bit too. That's nice. There we go. All right, so you can see how well that pulled up. I can put on the screen, you know, where we started. So in here, right there, it's so hard to do. And here is up super nice. That's a tick low still. We're not gonna pull it again. And then coming over through our edge is great. You can see that chip I was talking about, maybe. Yeah. So that little chip, I'm not gonna risk a pull there when I know I can sneak a tool in traditionally. But I wanted to show you what is possible with the crease killer. So we got that crease. If you're a body man, that is probably blockable and paintable. If you're a PDR tech, you could push the limits of what you can do with glue pull if you had to, like I had to on the front door. Because it is a paintless repair on a customer's car, I'm going to switch and finish this all the way out with tools to make it as perfect as possible. So that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll make sure to have a link to the crease killer and everything you saw in the video today on KECOtabs.com. I'm Gene. And thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought of the video. I'll see ya.